Welcome back to the channel. It's day 22 of NaNoWriMo and day 113 of working on my novel. All in all, it was a fairly busy day, but not as hectic as the past few have been. I had more wood to bust outside, so I focused on that. I had to empty out my stove when I came in this evening and clear all the ashes out and then rebuild the fire, so that took some time. And, it was around 8 when I started writing, and it was kind of slow to start with, but it picked up after a little while. Last night's writing went really well. I had a moment where a scene came to me and I ended up writing something that is going to further develop the mystery elements of the plot. So I was really pleased with that, and that mysterious character I mentioned in one of my other videos, the one where I didn't know if she would be in the future of the book, but I suspected that she would. She was actually in this scene I'm talking about, so that was kind of cool. I was glad that went the way it did. There is going to be a little bit of a ramble in this video. I've seen a lot of videos earlier today when I took a break. I was watching some videos on YouTube. I've seen a lot of people talking about being, upset because they've fallen behind on their word count, and NaNoWriMo is getting closer to the end, and I mean, it just makes me want to shout, I just don't. So I wrote some things down here that I'll get into, but some of this is going to be redundant if you've watched some of my other videos. So just bear with me, because some people haven't, and I'm hoping that making this video someone will see it and say, oh wow, okay, So yeah. To start with, I'll say 50K in a month, it doesn't matter. It's horrendously irrelevant. Just set it aside. I really think NaNoWriMo would be a much better thing if they would just say the challenge for November is to write every day. The thing is, not everyone has a schedule that's going to allow them to write for hours, or devote the time that they would need to get 2,000 words a day, or however it averages out. I mean, that's just the thing. Life is busy. People have jobs and careers and spouses and children and all this stuff. I mean, in school, some of them are going to college or whatever. It's just, there are things that can get in the way of writing. And I think to try to run something for a month with the goal that not everyone's going to be able to meet, you're setting some people up for disappointment, and it may be a thing where they're like, oh crap, I didn't make it, so I'm just going to give up. And giving up is the worst thing that you can do. That's kind of the whole point of this rant, is don't give up. Whether you've reached the word count or not, it doesn't matter. As I have said so many times before, what matters is your story. What matters is whether or not you love what you're trying to do. If you're really passionate about it and you want to do something with it, publish your book or a collection of short stories or whatever, that's the only thing that matters, and the core of that is writing every day, or as much as you can. If you have a day where you don't write, I mean, yeah, you may end up being sad about that, but you got to set that aside and try to go back the next day, and if you have the time, try to write. That's basically my advice on that. It adds up. I started in August. I don't know my word count now as far as my novel, but I would say it's, I can't remember, but I mean, it's in the hundreds of thousands. It's up there. So I mean, there again, I don't write 10,000 words a day. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 1 or 1.5. I mean, it's just, I try to focus on the story, and I try to keep it in my head and in my heart at all times. And I think I think that's the best way to approach it. So yeah, if you're behind and you're seeing this, that's what I would say to you. Don't worry about it. I mean, just focus on what you care about. Try to make your story something that you're passionate about, and try to follow that in the writing. I think that's the best way to go forward. Yeah, that's about all I've got for this video. It's almost 11. I wanted to go ahead and shoot it so I could take care of a few other things and get back to the writing. I didn't end up going to bed as early as I had wanted last night. Situations just didn't go that way. But like I said, I was wrapped up in the writing, and the words were there. And I liked how that turned out. So the scene that I worked on today, I'm still in this transitionary phase where characters are just sort of hanging out. They're getting ready to go and do something. But it's really neat to me because via their conversation, more of their history and their connections, to like their relatives and other people in their lives, these things are coming out, their emotions, and I don't know, I like the way that it's all sort of evolving, coming forward. So that's about all I have for this one. I hope all of you are well. Hope you've had a good day and are having a good night. Thank you particularly to Oz, who has left me a bunch of comments recently on my videos. Your words and your support are really great, and it means a lot to me just to have some feedback, someone else sharing their view or their opinion, and being able to have that dialogue in the comments. That's really great. So thank you for taking the time to do that. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. As I said in my last video, if you have questions about the story or suggestions for future episodes, by all means leave me something. I don't know what I'll be doing with this series in the future. I know people have asked if I'm going to continue it after NaNoWriMo, and that is my goal. I'd like to keep going with it and, see how it turns out day by day as I'm working on the novel. So, thank you for your time. Have a good night.